It's good to have you join us on another lovely episode of The Wedding Show. Remember, we're your ultimate guide to everything weddings. My name is Ruth Egbejule. Today, we'll be looking at wedding planning. And to discuss this, I have a beautiful guest in the studio. She's the creative director of the planning company. Already with the name, you already know what she does for a living. It's good to have Lara Hans join us.
Thank you. It's good evening.
See,
what a lovely intro.
This quiet, don't give me this kind of quiet thing. I don't want it.
I'm quiet. What can I say?
Don't come and do good evening. It's not like that's not you.
No, that's me. So that's it. You might have to edit this part out, but the person you know me with doesn't mean I'm like that person.
Shit,
so
you have thrown my friend stone.
No, I'm not throwing her stone. I'm not trying to. At least we've been friends for over 20 years, but all friends, we can't all have the same personality.
Of course, yeah. I can
imagine.
It
doesn't mean I'm quiet all the time, but when it calls for it.
Yes. You're just, okay. So let's look at, I know planning, or event planning, it's a big aspect, but today we want to streamline it down to wedding planning.
Okay. So
what is wedding planning?
Planning a wedding.
Planning a wedding, wedding planning. What is that?
Is there an easy way to define wedding planning? It's more like it's the moving parts, it's putting everything together. So when you think of weddings, the different types of weddings, and if you now bring it home to Nigeria, where we have the amount of cultures, different cultures across different states, and then you're trying to cater to the different needs of people. Wedding planning, in a nutshell, is your ability to pull together all the moving parts and be able to create like one seamless event. That's what I would say.
So why do I need you if I have to get married?
Okay, have you been married before? Let's start from there.
There
are people who have been married before.
That's why I said, why do I need you? When I mean why do I need a wedding planner?
So first off, most people, not everybody, but most people getting married have never been married. So they do not understand the intricacies of what goes into it.
So you just threw me that stone. That's why you asked if I've been married before.
No. I said that. No, I said that in the sense of it's not only wedding planning is not only for people that have never been married. There's also wedding planning for people who have been married, got separated, something happened, spouse died, and then they're going at it a second time, a third time. Who says love stops at one?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it's the ability for people, for us as wedding planners, event planners, to put together an event for you that is reflective of you, of your personalities, of your tribe, of your culture, whatever is involved in that process, and be able to deliver on it.
So, yes. So is wedding planning a skill or a gift?
It's you can learn wedding planning.
Okay.
The bonus is if you have a flair for certain things that you require as a wedding planner to have, some of those things are gifts. So it's something you can be trained to do, but you definitely need to have certain qualities like as a person to be able to go into wedding planning.
So what are those qualities that we need to have?
Let me say, for instance, you have to understand order. You have to be able to be somebody that is put together, an organized person, somewhat like a project manager. So if you also have to be very, very patient and understand communication. So if you see, most of the things I'm talking about are things that you can actually learn. But then there's some things that you just don't have either the patience for or the emotional intelligence for. You probably do not want to go into this industry if you are that person, because you would struggle. Not like you will not be able to make it, because different people, different personalities, different temperaments, but you would struggle. So yeah. So
how do you deal with client who are just all over the place, maybe troublesome clients and all that? Have you ever come across such clients?
Definitely.
Please,
so
I need that experience.
Do you want to enter the industry and you need the experience?
No,
so
I need that
part of it. People who are not put together, the reason why they are coming to you is for you to put them together. So you're most likely going to encounter a lot of that. There's some people who know what they want from the jump. They know how they want it. They understand that, okay, this is what it is. It's not changing. Yes, they're open to listening to you because you're the professional in your field, and they are fine with taking on advice. But you will most likely come out. Most of your clients are going to be people, they would even say to you, the reason they hired you is because they do not know anything about this industry or how to go about it or where to start from. If you're talking of clients who, I won't call them troublesome clients, I think there's a better word for them. Some people say difficult clients.
Difficult.
I think it's more getting to understand where they're coming from. I'm not saying there are not people out there who are probably just going to be like fishbone in your throat. No. But you will definitely, you have to be able to understand why this person is the way they are and what is it that they're trying to say that you're either not understanding or that you're not seeing. So your ability to see different points of views would definitely help you. So that's what would determine if the person is a difficult client or, for want of a better word, somebody that is plain sailing and easygoing. You meet people who tell you, oh, they just want to go and sleep and show up on their wedding day. They trust you. They trust that you're going to do right by them. And then you meet people who want to monitor every single process, every single decision that you're making. Some people will second guess, like everything you do, they would bring up a reason why. But when you find out that they just want the best, and most times it's coming from that angle, you know better how to approach them.
So is it hiring the services of a wedding planner, is it affordable?
Affordable is relative, my darling.
You people should stop doing this relative thing.
No, affordable is relative. So I will say this. Given the economy that we operate our businesses in, and if you look at worldwide industry standards, I think for the level and the output of the events that we put out as Nigerian wedding planners, wherever we are doing the most. Like we churn out back-to-back events, we're bringing out new ideas, things keep coming up, and you have a lot of things that might happen back end that the clients will never be aware of, and you're able to like tackle them, you're able to solve those problems or face challenges without it disrupting the event. We have clients that get married in Nigeria, or they have more than one event, and they also have weddings out of the country. We're getting there. We're not perfect, but I will say this. When they compare both events, that's the ones they have in Nigeria and the ones they have outside of the country, the output is not the same. The Nigerian ones, the bar is always like really raised high. But
we're good actually.
No, we're good. Like
we're good.
We don't give ourselves enough credit for the work that we do. And I think it's high time that we start doing that.
So now, since we're talking about Nigeria, do you think Nigerians patronize you? I'm saying you, that's your services. So if I say no, it would, I'm discounting people who have kept me in business for over 8 years. And if I say yes, then I would only be speaking from my own point of view. But yes, we do get people patronize us. We're busy. But at the same time, can it be better? Yes. So I don't think our problem is in the patronage. I think it's probably getting people to understand the value of what it is that you're bringing to the table. Because we laugh about it, but we say this, almost every mother, every wife is your competitor as a wedding planner in Nigeria. Because you talk to families, people who probably don't understand the essence and the value of what it is that you're doing, and maybe they have a child who understands and they're saying, oh, I want a wedding planner to their parents. And the parent is giving you the pushback of, for what? Is it not to call the caterer, the decorator, this one, and put it all together? But you see that the events our parents had, or probably when we were younger, and the events you have now, there's a difference. Maybe your mom was always hassled as a child when you went for a party. She didn't sit down. She probably did not even appear in any pictures or anything like that. Or she was at the back fighting with the caterer. And then after the wedding, there's like a family meeting where they say, oh, this uncle packed out the goat meat, or the cooler of rice was this. Yeah.
Something. Or, oh, I paid this person and I didn't see value, or the person did not deliver. But because I was busy on that day, there was nobody to follow through. I couldn't put my full attention to this particular thing or that particular service. So with time, it's getting there. It can be better, yes, but I feel like it's a gradual process that we'll get to that point. Yeah.
All right, so this is The Wedding Show, where we take a break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
In a world oversaturated with sugar-coated talk, this is the space where comfort zones go to die and real conversations come to life. This isn't your average talk show. This is the Coliseum of intellectual rebellion and revolution. Here we break boundaries, challenge the status quo, and tear down the walls of mainstream thinking. I'm not here to sugarcoat the truth, and I'm certainly not here to make you comfortable. I'm here to disrupt. No filters, no safe zones. Here we address the topics that make you uneasy, conversations that stir discomfort and provoke reactions. I talk about the things they don't want you to talk about, the things that challenge your very beliefs, that spark debates, that make us question who we are and what we stand for. You might not like what you hear, you might not agree, and that's okay, but what you will do is think, and that is exactly the point. This is not about offering easy answers, it's about asking the hard questions no one dares to raise. So if you're ready to push past the noise, if you're ready to get uncomfortable, then buckle up, because the disruption starts now. I am Jay Harbour, I am the disruptor, and this is Disruptive with Jay.
Welcome back to The Wedding Show, your ultimate guide to everything wedding. So we have been discussing wedding planning, and my guest is still in the studio, the creative director of the planning company, Lara Hans. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, what is the most toughest wedding you've handled? You don't need to call them. Yeah, so I mean to like the wedding that really stressed you out and all that. Yes. Don't make it seem
I
like...
can't describe it, because if I describe it, everybody's going to know. So, and I am bound by clients. So this is, I would say this.
Okay.
During the process of planning, you will probably get stressed. But maybe it's a coping mechanism I have. The minute it's over, it's like, that's the end. I've moved on. I cannot remember it anymore. And it's not just with events, it's generally with life. Like, I don't know how to dwell on, oh, this thing was really, really hard for me, or this person really stressed me. Instead, I just want to look for the lessons in it and move. And the minute I move on, I think sometimes people have to like remind me like, but this happened. I'm like, that's true, but I've forgotten. So it's probably because I feel like if you dwell on it, it will weigh you down a lot. But yes, we've been in tough situations. You have things that happen to you, and then after it, you're like, how did I finish and get through this thing without mentally breaking down? Yes, you will have mental breakdowns, I will say. You'll have your moments where you would scream, but not necessarily like scream at people. Maybe like in your personal space, you'd probably scream into your pillow. You'll cry. Yes, I've had my crying episodes, never in front of anybody. Yeah, especially in the early days, it was a lot tougher, because then you're like, why are these people not seeing that I am giving this thing 1,000%, and why are you stressing me like this? Like, can't you see that I actually have your best interest at heart? But as you grow, you realize that no, it wasn't personal most times to you, but you find yourself in tight spots. You find yourself sometimes in positions where somebody is throwing you under the bus, and you cannot speak up for yourself in that moment. It's not like you don't want to speak up for yourself, but you just look at it and you're like, speaking up for yourself in this particular moment is not going to make things any easier. Instead, you'll probably just add fuel to fire, and you can tackle it later on. And maybe for future events and dealings with probably clients or customers or with service providers, you know better how to handle yourself and how to probably put things in place to prevent such things happening anymore.
Okay, so I read somewhere, I'm just going to paraphrase it, but it's not like the exact word, but what it's meant is that the writer was trying to say that any wedding without a wedding planner means that, as this present, it means that the wedding would not go well and all that. Do you share the same opinion with the writer?
We have the memes for things like that, right? Like, you know, when you see them online, it's like, oh, I thought I could handle it myself. So there is definitely a difference in an event where you have a wedding planner and one where you do not. Because what we do, the service we provide, is not something you can actually quantify. So there are things that, so when someone's like, oh, what does your service entail? By the time you maybe say A to Z of what the regular things that you probably provide, you're definitely doing 1,000 times more than those things. So you can't exactly quantify the service. So now not having that in place, to not even have the regular A to Z minus the other back end that you do that nobody knows about, you're not getting the best, honestly.
Okay, so if a couple...
Even I need an event planner when I need to do something.
Oh,
Yes.
I see. Yeah, because it's going to be your day and you can't
So
really...
any event I'm doing, there still has to be somebody monitoring the back end. And for a wedding planner, when it comes to mine, I just can't be bothered. Because I'm like, look, I do this for a living. Oh, would you? I'm like, just leave me alone, just handle it. So I'm that person as a client. So, but there has to be somebody doing something. It's two ways. It's either I am very involved or I am not involved at all.
So what's the
Somebody should
first thing you tell couple when they approach you to plan their wedding?
Oh, there's a whole lot you have to say.
Let's hear them.
No, can't be giving away business secrets on
No, it's
TV.
not business secrets.
But, no, you have to sit down and have like conversations with them. You need to understand where they're at, what they're thinking. You need to be able to listen to them. I think that's the first thing. Just hear them out. What do they want? Listen to them. Who are the key stakeholders involved in our wedding? Who are the key parties involved? But at the end of it all, the be-all end-all is what do they want? Because you cannot necessarily deviate from that. You always have to remember they're paying you to deliver on that. So that is your main goal. That's what you're trying to achieve.
So as a wedding planner, do you have your standard when it comes to the finances such that you would say you cannot, it's only a certain level of wedding you can plan? Let's say a wedding from XYZ amounts.
Where you start, you don't have. I will say that when you start, when you are entering the industry, you might not. You probably be able to work with different amounts and budgets. As time goes on and you build a brand, there are certain budgets you will tell me right now, I don't know how to work with it. Not because I am proud or I'm saying it is not money. It's just not feasible with when we put the standard that we're operating events at right now. So there's a certain level of events that we try to churn out and that costs money. So for us to be able to deliver, and most times the reason why you're coming to us is because you've seen what we can do. You've seen what we've done. Because let's be fair, it's not like I can go knocking on people's door and be like, knock, knock, do you have a child who is about to get married? Let me be the wedding planner. Is referrals, word of mouth. They've attended events that you've done and they've seen your work. So that standard that you met us at is not gonna, the aim is to beat the past events, not to be going lower. So sometimes that comes with budget. So yes, there are certain budgets that once you sit down with a couple and they start to tell you what they want for their wedding, by the time you get to the finance part of things and they tell you the budget, you can just be like, okay, look, everything you're saying and this budget you're mentioning, they're not on the same level.
Or you tell them?
Oh no, you have to. You have to. Your ability to tell your client the truth. You're kind of like a reality checker. You put things in perspective for them. You're not a dream killer. You're not a Debbie Downer, no. But you also have to be very realistic with people, because then their expectations are raised, and if you cannot now meet it because you're afraid of telling them the truth, you're not doing yourself any favors. It will burn you down the road.
So how has it been working with, the coordination of wedding, working with different vendors, day in, day out? How has that experience been for you?
It's rocky sometimes, but most times it's easy. Once you find your footing, once you're able to find vendors and service providers that not only can match the service that they're supposed to provide, but they, in terms of the values that you try to achieve or that you have, they are in alignment with that, I think you'd be fine, really. So I would say most of the vendors we work with, not like we're stuck on them, we do work with new ones. Like very recently, I met someone fantastic caterer like that. First time I've ever worked with her. Values, yes, we are not perfect for each other yet, but I see myself working with her over and over and over again. So you meet people along the way. It's just finding that foot ground or that level where everybody is like, okay, this is what we're trying to achieve, and this is what is at the forefront. Not necessarily not what's good for you as a person or Ruth, what's good for me, Lara, as a person. No, but as a team, what are we trying to achieve? And if we can all buy into that, and added that the product is great, service is great, hello, match made in heaven, I guess.
Okay, so as we wrap up today's edition, what advice do you have for couples?
There's a ton. I always say, try to silence the noise. When you start wedding planning, from the moment you get engaged, there is a lot that you're going to hear. People are going to be giving you different sorts of advice. You need to be able to drown out the noise to a good extent. If not, you would be swayed easily. So kind of like when they say have a mind of your own, we're not saying don't take advice. Take advice, but be able to filter it and then be honest with yourselves. Like talk through every single thing. The budget, most times I will be fair and say you don't have a realistic view of what things cost. But when you hear the cost of things, do your findings as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But talk to yourselves and be grounded. Very, very grounded, because it's very easy to get lost in this. It's like a swamp. It's very easy. Doesn't mean that there are no luxury events out there and there are no people, even with the luxury ones. So they were like, brides become the best wedding advisors after their wedding. During their wedding, they do not necessarily listen, but let that wedding day be over. Let them settle, give them a week or two. Anybody that wants to get married, go and meet a bride who just got married. She will tell you the truth as it is. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Lara Hans, the creative director of the planning company,
Thank you, Ruth,
for being in the studio.
Thank you.
And we're going to take another break to bring the fun fact segment about wedding. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to the Wedding Show Fun Facts About Wedding segment, and I'll be having the segment with my guest as usual. So, Lara, so this one says, a Swedish bride puts a silver coin from her father and a gold coin from her mother in each shoe to ensure that she will never do without them.
Okay, that's cool.
You think it's cool enough?
Well, silver coin from her father, gold coin from her mother. That's nice. Is there value in those coins?
Well, I am still trying to wrap my thoughts around that. And again,
ask me Nigerian trivia. Maybe I would be able to say yes. Let's go for that. But if it's a real gold coin, I like the babe. She should go for it.
Okay, thank you so much, my guests, for being in the studio today.
You're very welcome.
And so that does it for us on today's edition of The Wedding Show. Do not forget that the conversation continues across all our social media platforms at The Wedding Show. My name is Ruth Egbejule. See you next time.